So good morning. Welcome to Woman at the Wheel. I'm Sue. It's 7 o'clock. Sun's just come up, so I'm on the edge of mountain time here. So it's later for the sun to come up than what I'm used to. And I am on my way to Fort Morgan, Colorado. I'm setting my GPS now. To deliver these 2 trailers I've got back here. And last night I had to do some trailer surgery because fighting trailers all day yesterday. A lot of it might have been the wind, but then I got to thinking about it and kind of talked to a couple people, and they said try taking the front tires off the back trailer. So that's what I did last night. As crazy as that sounds. The hell? Oh, okay. I was going to say, I took that tire off. It looks like there's 2 of them back there. I'm going to flip this around. Okay. So I'm flipped around. I'm going to try and get out of here without hitting this curb. It's like one random little piece of curb out here in this parking lot. It's in a shitty spot for me. And I've got to try and get out of here. This might be easier said than done. Let's see, there's an exit over there maybe. Maybe I can get out this. This place doesn't look like it's open yet, so I did my pre-trip, filled up my diesel off of the auxiliary tank. Topped off my DEF fluid tank. I'm all ready and raring to go, and I'm eager to see if this is going to make any difference. Yesterday was hell day, the worst day I've ever had pulling trailers, because I couldn't get over 45-50 miles an hour without that back trailer completely wigging out. Now I was attributing it 100% to the wind. That may have been an incorrect assessment after talking to other people and trying to figure it out. So it could be that having that back trailer with both sets of wheels, both sets of tires on the ground was giving me some trouble too. Now the wind was definitely a factor. And I'm not sure that the wind wasn't 99% of the problem, but we will find out here shortly. Because if I can't get over 45 or 50 today, I'm going to cry. I'm just gonna have a good old cry and get it over with. Yesterday was horrible. It took me 10 hours to go, 6.5, 7 hours worth of driving. And there was nothing I could do about it because you can't have that back trailer whipping around, and it was whipping around bad. So we'll see how they do today. I won't know till I hit about 50 or 55 for sure what's going on with it. I hope it's going to settle down and behave itself. Because I don't want to go, I've got 381 miles to go, and I don't want to do it at 45 miles an hour, preferably. I don't have to. Yeah, so anyway, I got relatively good night's sleep. Stayed at the Super 8 in Dumas, Texas. That's where we're at now, is Dumas. There's that Brahms I was threatening to stop in the parking lot and camp out if I couldn't get a motel, but I got to the Super 8 and there was nobody there. It was awesome. It was very sparsely populated, and it was recently redone, so it was pretty nice. Of course, they jacked up the rates to go along with that, so it was under $100, but it was close to 100 still. It was 90 something, 91 I think with tax. But it was under 100, so that's good. Now, if I can get this dang thing delivered without having any more problems with it, I'll be extremely happy. So far so good, but we're only doing 35. I mean, I'm in town, so I think I need to slow down because I think the speed limit here is 30, not 35. I'm just pacing the other traffic, but that's not necessarily what I need to be doing right now. GPS to do what I need it to do here. So I'm 175 miles south of Lamar, basically. That's about right. 3.5, 4 hours. More or less, depending on what speed I can get up to here. We'll find out. Yeah, I was fit to be tied yesterday. All I did all day was bitch about the load. That was it. Whine, bitch, piss and moan. I just didn't know what to do. I mean, there was nothing I could do. At least I thought there was nothing I could do. Maybe I could have taken the wheels off, but I didn't know that. I didn't realize I didn't stop and think about it. I've never had this issue, so I had no idea. So I learned a couple things yesterday, I think. I learned that the wind can really screw you when you're pulling doubles, which I kind of knew, but I really hadn't had any experience with it being that bad. And I also learned that you can take the rear wheel or the front wheels off the rear trailer too. And I hope it helps. Nobody guaranteed that it would help, so it may have been all for naught. I may end up driving 45 again today. We'll just have to see. This may just be one of those loads where, who knows, maybe the hitch receptacle on one of the trailers is jacked a little, or the frame's a little funky on one. Who knows? Some simple little thing like that can cause a lot of problems. So we'll just have to play it by ear here. Now I expect them to behave at this speed. I'm doing 35 now, and even with 4 tires on the ground on that back one, it wasn't giving me any trouble at this speed yesterday. So that was interesting, taking those tires and wheels off last night. I thought it was going to be a lot harder than it was. And I was worried about it because I knew that I had to get once I had the wheels off, I had to get the tire and wheel up into the back of the trailer. Well, luckily, these trailers have, the back one especially, that's the one I was messing with, has a ramp door on the back, so I could lay it down. So actually what turned out to be the hardest part of the whole job, aside from just the heat, I waited till it cooled off a little last night and did it so I could sleep. I would have been thinking about it all night if I hadn't done it last night. And I would have had to do it this morning. So the hardest part of it was closing that damn ramp door, picking it up and pushing it closed, because that thing was heavy and it didn't have like a counterweight on it to counterbalance it and help you pull it up. If it did, it wasn't a very good one, because I had to get under it, and really, I was afraid it was going to smush me. Which could have been bad. It wouldn't have been good. I don't want to be smushed. Okay, so speed limit out here appears to be 55. I'm going to see what it does. Okay, I'm at 45. It was behaving okay from about 40 to 45 yesterday afternoon, and then it would start freaking out and wigging around. And I'm at 46 now, and still looking okay. I think the fastest I got going yesterday at all was 55. And that was for very short periods. I'd be happy if I could run 55 today without it getting freaked out. That's at least a reasonable speed, you know. It's not so damn slow. It's slow, but by modern standards. Okay, 50, and it's tracking good. It's too early to say if it cured it or not. We'll see. 52. I got to do this gradually, because if it starts flipping around like it was yesterday, it could actually flip over. So I don't want to just assume that it's okay and go hauling ass with it. 55. It's nice and stable at 55. That may have cured the problem. There's no wind this morning either, so between these two factors, no wind, okay, 57. Really watching this back here because I don't trust this bitch now at all. Most doubles, you know, the first few miles you can figure out how they're going to pull. And I did yesterday with this one too. I just didn't know it was going to be the whole way up. If I'd have known that that would help, I'd have stopped and took the tires off sooner. So I got to keep that in my toolbox. I only thought I had one tool yesterday, and that was my speed control. But I completely overlooked the obvious, which, you know, made me feel kind of duncy. But then again, I've never had this problem. That's what I'm smelling. It's a feedlot. No wonder it smells like a feedlot. Ah, yeah. Okay, we got the problem cured, it looks like. I'm doing 60. Thank you, God. Seems to have fixed her. So, something about having four wheels on the ground on that back one was making it track funky yesterday. Don't ask me why. I don't understand the physics of it. I wish I'd actually taken physics, and I wish I understood a lot of that stuff better, but at the time I was in school, I didn't give a shit. I like boys, you know. I didn't like physics, I like boys. Duh. Not only is youth wasted on the young, a lot of education is wasted on the young too. As mean as that may sound. Okay, this is wonderful. I'm running 62 miles an hour, not having any issues. I think it's going to pull like a regular set of doubles now. Normal doubles, I can run 60 to 65 in that range without having any issues. So this is now pulling within the parameters of what I'm used to. Well, duh. I could have saved myself a lot of time yesterday if I'd have thought to stop and take those wheels off. So next time I will know. I didn't know yesterday. It wasn't an option in my mind. But next time I have an issue, it will be one of the first things I go to. It really wasn't that hard to do, especially where I was sitting at. I was parked on a concrete apron on the edge of their parking lot. Nice level, solid surface. So I just got out the jack. I've got a floor jack. Bill got me a floor jack for the truck. So I got that out, jacked it up just a little bit, just, you know, so I could get the wheel up off the ground a little bit. And then I didn't do that until I had it actually loose. I jacked it up under it where it was tight, but not where it was lifting it really. So then I undid all the lug nuts, got those off. And then I jacked it up enough to where the wheel would slide off the lug studs. And then I put that tire, rolled it up in the back of the trailer, took the jack down, went over to the other side, did the same thing on the other side. So it took me, all told, well, it took me like 20 minutes just to find the right socket, because I was being a dip. So I was running back and forth for tools from the back trailer to the toolbox. And I did that like, I don't know, 20 times before I got all the right tools assembled. And then just actually doing the tires, I think probably took me 10 minutes aside, if that. It was pretty easy job. It was hot work, but not as hot as it could have been, because when I stopped last night, it was 102 or 103. And then by the time I went out to do that, I think it was down into the high 90s, but it was getting shady on that side of the motel. I was on the south side of the motel, and then there's a fence behind me in another building, so it was getting shady in there. So it wasn't bad at all, really. I just put on a big work shirt because I knew I was going to get all greasy, and I really didn't. I didn't even get really dirty, so I was kind of amazed. But yeah, just closing that back ramp, that was the hardest part of the whole thing. All right, I can't believe it was that simple of a deal. It's tracking just fine today. None of that crazy bouncing around shit. It was doing crazy stuff back there. I thought I was going to flip it a couple times. Like, oh my gosh. So today is not going to be like yesterday. Today is not going to be another hellish day. Thank God above. It's going to be a good day. I'm ready to have a good day. I'm not going to break any land speed records anyway, hauling doubles. But when you can run 60-ish, that's a whole lot better than having to run, 45. And by the time I turned north last night, I got it up to about 55. So the wind had a big effect on it, but not as big as the wheels. Go figure. So this is North Texas, the Panhandle. I really like the Panhandle of Texas, and I don't think I'd like it to live here. Maybe I would. I don't know. I kind of like open and flat ground like this. But one of the things about this part of the country is it's so artifact rich, and you've got to know somebody if you can, find one of these ranchers that's got a cajillion acres and get permission to come out and hunt their ground. You can find a lot of artifacts out here. There are cities in this region, old cities that people lived in thousands of years ago. And there's one, I can't remember exactly where it's at, but it's up in here somewhere, that they've studied extensively, and I guess it's just miles of artifacts basically, but it's all on private ground. So that's the good thing about it, because in Texas, you can actually, with the owner's permission, you can go in and hunt and not have any legal issues. Like certain places you can hunt, certain places you can't. Well, but Texas has like the best laws of all, I think. Because in Texas, if you own land, you can actually charge people to come in and hunt it. So if you're on an artifact-rich site, a lot of these guys, especially down in South Texas, down like south on the Edwards Plateau and down into that region, there are several places down there where people have ranches or have land or have sites that they've bought the land, and they'll go in and with bobcats and get the sandy dirt and put it up on great tables made out of grating, and then you kind of run through that dirt and you can pull artifacts out of it, which is a very fun thing to do. It's expensive, but it's very fun. And you can find some really, really old artifacts that way. Stuff that's been buried, 10, 15 feet down for millennia. So it's really interesting. Very interesting. But up in this region, there's a lake over to the east of me. I think it's it's probably southeast of me now. But it's called Lake Meredith. And there's an ancient flint quarry there, or chert quarry. And I'm not sure how it's pronounced. I think it's Albates or Albates, something like that. It was a particular kind of chert stone that was mined out of that quarry for thousands of years, probably. And you'll find artifacts made of that stone all over the place. So they did extensive trading with people, the people that actually mined that material. So that's one of the things that kind of makes me think maybe ancient, prehistoric man wasn't that different from us in some ways, because they had I'm sure they had occupations and they had specialists like we have, I'm sure, because they had people living at these quarries, and that was what they did. They quarried the stone. So I imagine there was, some head guy who was in charge of all that. And, they probably had their specialists who knew the best spots, the best stone, all that stuff. And I think that's probably what they did. They probably didn't travel around hunting and gathering. They probably traded their materials for what they needed. Because if you're quarrying stone all day, you don't necessarily have time to go hunting all day. Same as we have it now. We got people who hunt or people who raise food, and then we got people who trade, money or whatever for that food. So I think this is a condition that's been around since man's been around, pretty much. It's just a sensible division of labor, and it makes better use of a person's time. So, yeah. I don't know how I got off on all that tangent, except I'm in this area. That's kind of what I think about going through here. Now, I'm getting almost into Oklahoma again. It's not too far up here. It's a ways, but I'm watching this trailer. Right at 60, it's not doing bad. It's a little fishiness, but nothing funky. It ain't doing the funky chicken like it was doing yesterday. Yesterday it was flapping its wings and jumping around. I mean, it was scary. So we're doing good. I run 55 and 60 the rest of the way. It looks like I'll be able to. I'll be a content camper. I'll have people passing me up in Colorado, because that's 287 in Colorado is a fast road. Those truckers like to run it full out, and it's a 2-lane road a lot of the way. I'm sure I'll be probably pissing off some truck drivers today. That's all right. Anyway, so this town is called Stratford, I think, is what it said on the sign back there. There's a RV park here that's pretty bare bones. No trees or anything, but there are no trees really in the Panhandle too much. So this is a nice place to stop, actually. Stratford, Texas. If you're coming through here and you need a cheap motel or an RV park. The only thing in Stratford that I was a little sad about was you couldn't get a decent cup of coffee here. I was trying to find decaf. Nobody had decaf. And then, as a second attempt, as a last-ditch effort, I tried finding fluffy coffee, and their fluffy coffee was terrible. They didn't have the right flavors. They had the really sugary, kind of cloyingly too sweet stuff, and I don't know, it just wasn't a good place to get a cup of coffee, which is fine because I made coffee this morning anyway, so I'm good for today. I'm always appreciative when I have a motel room I can take all my junk in, including my coffee pot, in one trip, which I managed to do last night when I stopped. So I didn't have to make 3 or 4 trips to the truck to do it, to get it all, or to take it out this morning. It was one trip. A little bitty park right there. 1, 2, 3. So I've got 4 axles on the ground today as opposed to 5. I got to remember this. So it's not that hard to take wheels off. One thing, that's a lesson I learned. It's been a long time since I took a wheel off of anything. Like, I think the last time I had to change a flat tire was in the either late 70s or early 80s. Seriously. I had a pickup truck back then. I had a blowout on the front up on I-80, and I had to stop and change the tire. But I think that's the last time I had a flat on the road. Like, knock on wood. Okay, the Oklahoma state line is 4 miles up here, so it's going to be 180. 123. 0123. Oklahoma. So we'll cross the Oklahoma Panhandle from south to north, and then we'll be in Colorado. It's not tremendously far across there, maybe 40 or 50 miles, I think. I'm kind of heading northwest now. We'll turn straight north up here at Boise City. And then it'll be more or less straight north all the way up to I-70 with a few little jogs. And then at I-70 I turn and go over to Highway 71, I think it is, and I take 71 up, cut across, go up that way. If I remember right, 71's not all that great of a road, but it's the most direct way to get up there from where I'm going to be. And I don't want to go over to Denver, so it's worth it. Even if it's a crappy road, it's worth it not having to go through Denver. Entering Oklahoma, Cimarron County. I have to fix it on my laptop, I guess. What in the hell kind of fly is that? Giant freaking horse or house fly, I guess. Come on out, fly. Goofy critter. Get out of here. It's a giant house fly. Goodness gracious. That's the biggest housefly I think I've ever seen. He's giant. Way station, next left. Station. Not sure how this one works. I've never been through it before. Guess you're going this way. There's arrows. I'll follow the arrows. I'm going to see, go around to the right here. Yeah, probably. Looks right. We've got our lane here. It's just big ass fly to get out of here. It's distracting. Quite distracting. This is kind of a neat setup as far as way stations go. Okay, got the green light. That's all there is to that. Pretty easy. Easy peasy. Cylinder fly left. I think he might have. He might have got out the window good. Hope he did. Okay. I'm glad they pretty much left me alone. Okay, this is a kind of a tight spot, and he's got us in here. I'm going to slow weight and held down. I've been there, done that. Traffic stops can be spooky. You get out in traffic like that. That guy's throwing something out the window. That was interesting. I wonder what it was he just pitched. This trooper's gonna go find out. I mean, if you're gonna throw something out the window, don't do it right in front of the trooper. He almost hit my truck with it, whatever it was. It was 2 pieces of paper, I thought. Who knows, maybe it was just trash, but I don't know. So that little campground I was telling you about is right over here to the left. It's kind of a nice little spot back in there. And it's reasonable too. They only charge you like 20 bucks a night. Some of these campgrounds are getting pretty proud. I mean, they're getting a little extreme when they charge you, 50, 60 bucks a night. 20 is my preferred rate. I will pay 40 if I absolutely have to, but I won't go above that for a camping spot. Just to plug in your trailer for one night. Get real. I don't care what amenities you think you have. Like some of these campgrounds back east, they advertise they got this and that and the other thing, but then you get in there and you're elbow to elbow with everybody else in there. You can't even move, it's so jam-packed. You can't take a very big trailer in because there's no room to maneuver on the little roads. And so my next way station will be at Lamar. This is Cimarron River, and it is dry. That's weird. They must be way dry up in Colorado because the Cimarron River's usually got water in it. The Cimarron River, once you get over on the eastern side of Oklahoma, is a big river. Not very big here. It's dry as a bone. Okay, so we're about 5 hours out. It's 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2. Yeah, so we should be there about 2 o'clock my time, 1 o'clock their time. This is going to work out just right. 7, that'll leave me 4 hours that I can drive this afternoon heading back toward home. That'll get me a good way toward it anyway. And then maybe he'll have something else for me to go pick up somewhere. We'll see. Okay, should have 3 more miles of Oklahoma left. So that's going to be 180165. Colorful Colorado. Welcome to Colorful Colorado. Those signs, they've been using those signs since I was a little kid here. I think they've actually probably been using them since way before that. But premium diesel 539, huh? It's pretty bad when my little town in Oklahoma is 30 cents higher than a little town in Colorado. I'm actually kind of shocked. I may get a deal on fuel up here. Who knows? Looks suspiciously like a Wyoming license plate in front of us. I believe that's what that is. That's a pretty truck. Really pretty. So all these truck drivers parked in here. I've never seen this before. Is this the new place to stop? Maybe this is where they're stopping for the night now. Maybe they've been sitting here all night. They're just getting woke up. Could very well be. You see that turquoise Chevy Blazer back in there? It was an oldie. The Blazer was Chevy's answer to the Bronco, or the Bronco was the answer to Chevy's Blazer. I'm not sure which. Which came first. They were really the first two SUVs, whichever. Well, maybe I shouldn't say that. They were the first two mainstream SUVs. There were Internationals and Jeeps already that were kind of SUVs. I guess they were, are still. $4,410 feet. So we may do a little more climbing, but probably not too awful much. Let's see where we're at distance-wise. 262 miles. Good. So we're about 4 hours. Well, 4.5 hours maybe. So 9:30, 10:30, 11:30, 12:30, 1:32. So yeah, we're still on track for 2 o'clock on my time, 1 o'clock their time. That's fine. That works. That's what we're gonna get. That's what hand we've been dealt here. So that's what we're gonna play. Cat Creek, elevation 4,342 feet. Cat Creek's looking dry as a bone too. All these creek beds and river beds have been dry all up through here. That's not a good sign. I mean, it's snow melt time in Colorado and rain, you know. It's just not good. Okay, I'm going to slow down on this because that last railroad track bounced that back trailer pretty hard. Ugh. There goes the last axle. That was better. Much more better. Alright, 30. I'm just going to hang back and let this guy get through town before me so he doesn't have to pass me on the highway. I mean, I could go racing through town, but what's the point? You know? No reason to be a dick, so. It's my mantra to other drivers, don't be a dick. Applies to me too. Oh, mercy me. They got their little downtown fixed up pretty nice. It's looking more lively than a lot of cities' downtowns look. A lot of towns. 1929 that building was built. I think that's post office, maybe. I think there's another truck stop out here on the north end of town, but I'm not sure on that. It's been a while since I've been through here. They bricked that old house. Huh. Maybe not. I thought there was like a Love's or something out here. Guess not. Shows you how much I know. Don't know. Did you see that old trashed out Scooby-Doo van down there in that car lot? Looked like dead car lot. There's one that had the shape of the Scooby-Doo van. Now we get into the cone zones. So we're north of Lamar, south of Lyman. We're going to go up here through Kit Carson and Eads, and then up to Lyman, where I think we catch Highway 71 up by Lyman somewhere. We may go straight through Lyman. Okay, sorry about that. Got to answer phone when it rings. So we are north of Eads now. We went through Eads while I was on the phone. And we're in this multiple miles long cone zone. I didn't know they had so many orange barrels. There must be millions of these. If you count up all the ones that are sitting out on the highways right now in this country, there must be chameleons of them. That's something like gajillions, but not quite as many. So I've been driving today for 5 hours and 36 minutes, and I'm still an hour, a little less than an hour away. So I've done okay. Maybe not quite as fast as I wanted to get there, but I'm hauling a weird load, so I got to back off my speed a little bit too. I get a little over 60 and I start getting a little swaying back there. Nothing like the craziness from yesterday, but just enough to let me know. Back it off a little bit. And I hate looking back there right now because these trailers have chrome fenders on them and they're blinding the shit out of me. So all trucks, commercial vehicles, stop ahead. Oh geez, how many way stations am I going to have to stop in today, I wonder? I've already been in in two, past another one that was closed. We'll just find them, I guess, the way station. Where the hell is it? What, right here? Where the hell's the way station? Is this it? I guess this is it. Is this a rolling way station, maybe? Kind of looks like it. I guess this is the rolling scales, maybe. Huh. Haven't seen one of these for a long time. Okay. Okay, so what he's doing, he's run me up on these little scales. He's measured the front axle. Now he's weighing the back axle. I don't know what he wants now. Hold. Okay, so I'm holding. He's just doing a walk around. It's interesting.
I'm gonna need to see a couple things.
Okay.
Are you hauling anything in either of those?
No, they're empty.
They're both empty?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's my cargo.
Okay, and then can I take a look at your driver's license?
Sure. Let's see.
Where are you taking them to?
I'm taking them to Fort Morgan.
Okay. Back to you there.
Okay.
Alright, we'll go and get your first trailer.
Okay. All right.
Go ahead and spin your tire this way, because I got this entire tire on, but I only got half of that tire over this.
Oh, okay. So you need me over left.
Yep. And I'll have you come up. There's 2 pads, so I'll have you keep rolling.
Okay. Oh, I think it fell off of it. Oh, that way? Okay. All right. This is really interesting. They're having a hell of a time weighing these individual trailers. Good? Okay, I guess they're letting me go. They're not chasing me. I think they're rethinking their setup there. Like, well, that was a strange thing. We didn't expect to have doubles dragged across it, and that didn't work out real well. That didn't maybe work so great. Maybe we need to do something different. This is my imaginary conversation that I'm having about what they're probably saying right now. It's okay. Oh my gosh. What a cluster. Alrighty then. It's actually kind of fun going through that kind of a deal. Because all they're doing is weighing. They're not going to do a whole inspection there unless they see something. Because they don't have their inspection facility. It's not to say they won't give you a ticket if they see something they don't like, but for the most part, when it's a portable scale like that, they're just weighing. And they're on this back road because people cheat and come around the other scales, which I didn't do. The scale down there was closed, so I didn't cheat. That's funny though. They didn't quite set them up to track correctly with double trailers is what the deal was. So my left tire was, I mean, I looked like I was centered up on the ramp for the scale, and I was, but evidently my right tire that I couldn't see because it's on my blind side over there was about falling off of it, and they were trying to get me farther over to the left. Kid wasn't very good at like communicating and giving real instructions. He was yelling, using hand signals that, you know, might or might not mean anything to a person. That was kind of an experience, wasn't it? It's kind of funny. Make sure he gave me back my driver's license. I'm pretty sure he did, but I'm going to double check. Yes, he did. Okay. He didn't even run me or anything. He just looked at it. He just wanted to see if I had a CDL is what he wanted to see. He didn't ask for insurance. He didn't ask for my book. So they're not real set on doing much as far as inspecting anybody. So basically how this works is once you are a motor carrier and you have a vehicle out, a commercial motor vehicle on the road, they can inspect you anywhere, anytime. They don't need a reason to stop you. It's not like when I was a cop, when I wanted to check somebody out, I had to have a reason to stop them. I couldn't just go, oh, I don't like the way that guy looks, I'm going to pull him over. I had to have an actual, you know, something that was actually wrong that I could stop and you know, explain to him what was going on. So let's say I see this guy in town and I just don't like the way he looks, so I pull him over and stop him, and I say, well, I just don't like the way you look, so I'm pulling you over to find out who the hell you are. Well, that's illegal. You can't do that to people. But on the other hand, if I see somebody like make a turn and not use their signal, and then I pull them over and I say, hey, you know, you made this turn back here, but you didn't use your turn signal before you made that turn. So I just want to check on things, make sure you understand that that's, you know, the proper way to signal your turns, and it's a requirement when you're driving a car. You need to be doing that. So can I see your driver's license, your proof of registration, and your insurance, please? You know, so you give them a valid reason that you've stopped them, and then you ask them for their information. Well, he didn't do any of that stuff because he didn't have to, because he's DOT now. He's highway patrol, but he's functioning as DOT. And I'm a commercial motor vehicle, so he didn't have to say, well, you know, Sue, we didn't like the way you didn't use your turn signal when you pulled in here at the weigh station, so now we're gonna write you and give you a ticket or whatever. They don't have to do any of that shit. They can just say, you know, you're a commercial vehicle and we're going to inspect you. And you're like, okay, knock yourselves out. Because that's the authority they have. That's the authority I answer to as a commercial vehicle operator. There's nothing I can do about it, so, and it doesn't bother me anyway. Just sometimes I don't want to get inspected if I think I'm going to get a ticket, you know what I mean? Nobody wants to get inspected if they think they're going to get a ticket. If you're going to get punished for complying with an inspection, it kind of takes away your willingness to want to participate in them. Doesn't mean you're going to duck them or run from them, but it means you're going to not really enjoy the whole process of doing it. So this was kind of fun for me, actually, because I figured when I pulled in there they weren't going to do a full-blown inspection. Or if they did, it was going to be a trainee scenario where they were training this guy to do inspections. I'm kind of glad that's not the case, because that would have held me up for half an hour or better. So I'm kind of glad they were just playing with the scale. So that worked out happily for everybody. This truck has been weighed 3 times in the last 2 days now. And I don't know, you know, it's what it is. And I hadn't been, I was complaining last week because I hadn't been through a weigh station that was open for months. That barn is about falling over there. It's like everybody back east has got their weigh stations closed, so I'm not sure what's going on. I think I was through one in Missouri and maybe one in Illinois or someplace. And then I wasn't in another one until, I want to say, maybe Louisiana, after running clear back east and all over the eastern seaboard. So, anyway, that was fun. It's always fun to go to those pop-up weigh stations. I couldn't figure it out. First I'm like, well, where the hell do I go? And then I saw the little scales there. I was like, okay. So I wasn't really lined up good with them either. If I'd have seen them sooner, if they'd put, you know, a flag or something by it to get your attention toward it, then you could get in there and pull over farther to the right and then line up straighter across them. So you wouldn't have that problem lining up your tires going over their little portable ramps. But that's all cool. That was kind of fun. Kind of fun. I know I'm easily entertained. I've been told that more than once. Okay, so I've got these trailers dropped. I'm going to turn around and show you. I've got to go back in and take my paperwork back in. They don't have the most efficient system here, I don't think, but that's okay. Everybody does it different. So these are the cargo trailers I just hauled up here, right over here. That's my tie together set. As you can see, neither one of them has a front wheel on. That's because I had to take the back wheels off that back one. So they got delivered with no damage. So now I'm going to go up here, and I'm running slow because I don't want to trigger my drive time to start again. As long as I stay under 5 miles an hour, this is a yard move. I'm not technically driving the truck as on the highway. I'm moving it through the yard. So it's not counting against my drive time. Not that it's a huge deal, but I get in the habit of doing this so that I don't inadvertently use up drive time when I don't need to. Now I'm going to run over here up in front of this place and go get my paper signed, and then I'll get the heck out of here and go find that Starbucks. Okay, so I shall return momentarily. Shouldn't take long. They just got to sign it and get their copies. And that. can go in there. That can go back there now. Can go back in the book. And I'm out of here. So out of here. All right. And I'm gonna go find a Starbucks. So I'd like to go back to hauling these kind of things here. This is what I was used to hauling. I was hauled them for months. Then they changed it up. What I wouldn't give to haul one of those little guys. They're not very big. They don't kill your fuel mileage. You don't have any doubles bullshit to deal with. You don't have any stacks to strap down. Just a nice little, relatively lightweight trailer. And I'm gonna stay home for now till I know different. That's where I'm headed. So, my brief sojourn into Colorado is at an end. I'm gonna get my Starbucks. I'm gonna head relatively south-ish. No, I don't want to pay no tolls. Just get me home. They're just going to try and run me straight back down where I came from, which is fine. It can do that. I'm going to go where I want to go anyway. It'll adapt. It'll adapt or it won't. But I don't know if I've said this yet, but my personal motto has always been this very simple: adapt or die. And where I got that from was actually my favorite 1970s poster. It was like a poster that a kid would hang up in their bedroom, you know, an older kid, because it had, you know, kind of potty language on it. But it's two vultures sitting on a fence post. One of them looks at the other vulture and he says, "Patience, my ass, I'm going to kill something." So for some reason in my mind that morphed into adapt or die. But that's kind of where my deal came from. This is a rough damn road. I can see this phone jumping around pretty bad. I hope this is going to be usable footage. It will be once we get back on the interstate here and I get off this side road. So that was kind of a unique experience. There was no men in the office in that trailer outfit. It was all women. She said they've got 4 more coming up, and I don't know if I want to haul them or not. They were like, "Oh, well, maybe you'll get to haul them." Yeah. I don't know. Don't know about that. Oh, this damn seatbelt. I got something rattling back here like a son of a bitch. What is rattling back there? Just quit. Whatever you are, quit. It's a problem with rough damn roads. It rattles everything loose in this cab and then everything starts rattling together. And I hate rattling shit in my truck. It drives me nuts. It literally makes me want to kill something. Speaking of I want to kill something, that makes me want to. Okay, now if I was just an ordinary person and I didn't have DOT hours of service rules to follow, I could be home and in my own bed by 3 o'clock this morning. So that's not happening. No can do. They frown on you driving for, 12, 14 hours at a time. From here to be 12 hours, roughly. So I'm going to have to break that up. I only have 4 hours and 22 minutes left on the day today. So I'll have to behave myself and mind my master here. The ELD. Mind the ELD. You know what? This is a conundrum for me. I like having my fingernails long and pretty, but in this job, I can't. I just can't. It's like in the police work. But just once I'd like to look down at my hands and see pretty hands instead of seeing, you know, like feet to hell work hands. I'll show you what I mean. There, that's a beat to hell work hand. How's that looking for you? So, I mean, I'd love for my fingernails to be all pretty and, you know, girly. Okay, go on, bye, guy. I'm not in that big of a hurry. I'm not going to run out in front of you or jam you up. So this is worthy of note. There's a way station just before this delivery site that you're going to get one way or the other, probably either coming or going. Looks like they're both closed today. It's okay with me. Like I was saying, I've already been in a bunch of way stations today anyhow, so it doesn't matter to me. Whew. I think it's the next exit up. It's supposed to be a Starbucks. High Plains Strains Psycho Marijuana Bus. Did you see that billboard back there? That's funny shit to me. All right, Maverick is 537. This is terrible. When fuel in this part of Colorado is cheaper than Marlow, this is the part of Colorado where I bought the most expensive fuel I ever bought until this last few months. So frustrating, so annoying. And I'm just gonna peel off here and go see if I can find me a Starbucks. I'm pretty sure it's at this exit or somewhere thereabouts. Okay. So I'm kind of hoping that I'll have another load in Kansas or somewhere. And then another load somewhere close to wherever I dropped that load. Remains to be seen. Haven't heard anything from him yet. Of course, I haven't sent him directly texting saying it's delivered either. Okay, set it up where I can see his text without having to fish around. So I guess I'm going into Fort Morgan this way. I must have been through here once because I had to have come through here to get on 71 to go back south that one time that I brought that hot shot load up here. And I'm starting to remember this now. I think I've been on this road. So this is probably where I came through. Why I didn't recognize, or maybe why I did recognize the other end of town when I didn't think I should have. I don't know. Hard to say. I've been so many places now, it's like kind of hard to separate them all out. And a week from now, I won't remember this probably, oddly enough. As crazy as that sounds. But I'm going to find a Starbucks, and I guess I could use my no, I don't want that. I want that. Coffee and tea. Starbucks. Yes, please. Okay. Start new route. Okay, so I got my Starbucks. It's directly ahead of me, 2.7 miles. Which is good, because I can get my stuff and I can sit in their parking lot and plot and scheme where I'm going next. And where I'm going next is going to depend on fuel prices. If fuel's cheaper in Nebraska, I'll cut over into Nebraska from here because I'm right by I-76. So I can go right over into Nebraska. if fuel's cheaper in Kansas, I'll cut back down and go through Kansas. Whatever it takes to find the cheapest possible fuel. And if I don't find any fuel, then I'll just, you know, use what I got until I can find some cheaper fuel, or until I'm convinced that I can't get it any cheaper than whatever's out there today. So, but I have 3/8 of a tank on right now, which gives me a lot of miles, actually. I don't know exactly how much, because right now it's telling me what it would have been at 12 miles to the gallon, which is 234 miles of range. So I've probably got close to 300 miles of range on the fuel as it is. 250 maybe. So we will see. I say that a lot, don't I? I'm sorry. Now I could do something crazy like just get a motel here and just sleep for 12 hours. But then I wouldn't be able to sleep, because I'd be thinking, man, if I would have just kept going, I could get that much closer to home. So what I'll do is I'll just go till I run out of time tonight and stay wherever I'm at when I run out of time. Since I don't really have a set plan for getting home. I mean, and this could change at any second, because any second I could get a text from David saying, oh, I need you to go to, you know, Timbuktu or BFE or wherever. That guy looked odd. Not to get personal, but that was odd looking. Yesterday really exhausted me fighting with that thing, so I'm glad it's done. Took off my hitch, stowed it in my toolbox, which I love, love, love that toolbox. It's so nice. I'm going to tell Bill again when I get home. I love, love, love the work he did on the truck. It's so handy, so easy to get into. Makes my life a lot easier. It's just so convenient. I really love it. And the fuel tank, I mean, the whole setup is just awesome. It's kind of got me back thinking like I used to think about trucking, you know. I've got a little more range. I can be just a little pickier about fuel and get some good deals and maximize profits. And honestly, when you're in it to make money, that's what it is all about. I think this Starbucks is going to be inside the Safeway store. That's my best guess. I don't see a Starbucks sign. But there's Safeway, and there's the Starbucks sign on the side of Safeway. Good call, Sue. You'll see this in Colorado particularly. Safeway and then City Market in Craig has the Starbucks. Now Safeway originally had it, but the Safeway up there got closed. They shut it down. So they moved the Starbucks. I don't know how they got them over there, but they got them over into City Market somehow, which was the last actual grocery store left in town. Which it was, I think, the first grocery store the town ever had too. So it's been there forever. It's been there at least 40-something years that I know of. Maybe longer. Okay. So, will it be a full-service Starbucks? I don't know. Remains to be seen. But I'll go find out and I'll come back and tell you all about it. Be back. Okay, I'm back. So it was a good deal. It was a full-service Starbucks. So I got all my stuff. I'm going to go over here to the edge of the parking lot and leave this closer spot for somebody else and finish out my little break over here. So there's this group outside the front door. They tried to get me going in. They did finally get me coming out. Something about suicide prevention, and I was like, yeah, you know, I just can't help you today, sorry. I didn't want to say I've actually been on the front lines of suicide prevention, so leave me alone. You know, one of those people who actually ran in and tried to help people when they were trying to die and stuff. So, yeah. Anyway, back to my life these days, which consists of bacon egg bites, I'm going to go ahead and show you these, just so you don't have to look at a gas station the whole time. This is my bacon egg bites, and my fork, and my venti decaf mocha, cafe mocha. So anyway, this is my lunch, breakfast, brunch, supper, all of the above. Now I've got a little packet of salt up here. This is my little packet of salt. See this? That's one of those little salt packets you get like at Sonic or whatever. I have had a couple of them in here. This is the second one I've actually used. I use it just a tiny bit at a time. Just enough on there so it's a little salty. And I roll it back up and put it back up here in my deal on the dash. I actually do have a salt shaker in my food container, but that would require an effort to get that out. I'm good. Oh my gosh, this is good. Vehicle profile, change to car. There we go. To home. So I haven't turned anything yet, which doesn't really mean anything. But I don't have an active job going right now, so I'm going to head for home. And about the time I get into Kansas, I'll get a call from David saying, "You wouldn't be any chance to be over by Denver, would you?" I'm like, "No." "Oh, okay, I just thought I'd ask." And I'll be like, "What do you got?" And he'll be like, "Oh, somebody's broke down on I-25, and I'll be like, "Well, I've got 2 hours left on my work day." Or basically just pick any other town, you know. So I'm going to run right back down 71. And over to Kansas, I guess. There's no reason for me to hang out up here. Oh, actually, I'm not going to turn there. This thing wants me to turn there, but I don't know why. It's trying to bypass me around town. I'm going to go on in here and see what brush looks like these days. Well, it's making me homesick. It looks like a little Colorado town, which oddly enough, is what it is. It's not that different from my town that I lived in. It's one of the things about, you know, leaving places. You really can't go back, and it's not the same when you do. But I really can't go back because I can't afford to go back now. If I kept the house that I had there, I'd have been paying for it until I was 110. And if I tried to buy a house there now, it would cost me more money than I could scrape together, because everything's just gone through the roof. Thanks to more Californians moving in, primarily. But I guess if anything ever happened and I had to move back up there, I'd probably have to move in with one of my siblings, and I don't think any of them would have me. Not on a permanent basis. To visit, yes, but I don't think if I just announced, hey, I'm moving in, can I come live with you? I think they'd be like, I don't know that they just shout no, but they might shout hell no. So I thought about that when Bill was really sick, and I thought I might lose him. I thought, well, what will I do if I do? And the only thing I could think of was, well, I guess I'll probably just go home, you know. So I still do consider that home. It was for a long time, and I guess it still is. But I like where I'm at, you know. I love the farm. I love where I'm at, so it's not like I'm being miserable and having to live someplace I hate or anything. So don't get that idea either. It's just not home like that was. But it's not bad. That'd be a country song, wouldn't it? It ain't home, but it ain't bad. Oh, jeez. Yeah. All right, this should bring us back to Highway 71. There's a trailer outfit there. I just really don't know if I want to haul 2 more sets of doubles up here to Fort Morgan. Although that wouldn't be a bad week. I mean, I could only get 1 more done this week, I think. Let's see, it was a day and a half up here. If it wasn't pulling bad, I could probably do better. But today is Thursday, I think. Isn't it? Or is it Wednesday? I don't even know what the hell day it is. Let's look and see. Wednesday. Okay, it's Wednesday. So at best, I could get back and pick one up tomorrow and deliver it Friday. So I could get 2 loads in this week, which wouldn't be a terrible week, but it would be a lot of miles for not a terrible week.